Welcome to Acupuncture Story Time. I thought it would be nice to dive more deeply into some points with you, as well as give me an extra opportunity to do so. So I want to share today about large intestine 17, which is a point located on the throat. The name of this point is Tian Ding, which can be translated as heavenly vessel, heavenly summit, or heavenly tripod. Large intestine 17 is a less commonly used point. Large intestine 18, I would say, is much more commonly used. And large intestine 18 is level with the laryngeal prominence and located between the two heads of the sternocleidomastoid muscle. So it's on the throat. And any points on the throat here are going to be used often for neck tension, especially if that's closer to the SCM muscle. Could be used for heat in the throat, like inflammation. Could be used for a sore throat, whether from a virus or a chronic constriction, tightness, or inflammation of the throat, and to help one express oneself and connect with one's voice. So those are some common points for many points located on the neck or throat. And large intestine 18, which is more commonly used, is a window of heaven point. And window of heaven points are lovely for kind of like opening up a window, letting out anything you're ready to release while bringing in fresh air, fresh perspective, fresh inspiration. So large intestine 17, less commonly used, so it's a fun one to dive into sometimes, to look at those that we don't know as much about or use as often. With the name heavenly in it, does give a nod to the likelihood that perhaps at certain points in history it was used as a window of heaven point, or one could consider or be curious about the possibility that maybe it was a window of heaven point before large intestine 18 was created or located, or that it still has some of that action of bringing in the divine or that cosmic connection. So I want to share from one of my favorite books, The Clinical Practice of Chinese Medicine by Lonnie Jarrett. This is a beautiful book in which he really goes into the poetry and meaning behind the points and their names. And so he begins the section on large intestine 17 by saying, "A vessel with legs upturned furthers the removal of what has stagnated." And that's from the I Ching, or Yi Jing, as it's translated, the Book of Changes. He says, "The virtues of this point are to empower the virtues of emptiness, openness, and purity, and to diminish feelings of being tainted and unworthy. The Ding was a bronze vessel whose 3 legs symbolized the unity of heaven, human, and earth. It was used in banquets to hold nourishment and in the performance of rituals for making offerings to heaven and receiving spiritual influence." The function of large intestine 17 relates directly to the I Ching hexagram 50, Ding, cauldron. The essence of this hexagram's meaning is that stagnation must be removed and the vessel cleaned in order for it to be worthy to hold offerings and receive spirit during a ritual. He then goes on to say that large intestine points located 14, 15, and 16, more on the shoulder, he uses more for pain and dysfunction in the upper part of the shoulder, whereas large intestine 17 on the neck represents the transition between body and head, the transition to a relatively more refined quality of qi associated with the psycho-spiritual functioning presided over by heaven. Heavenly vessel fosters the state of openness and purity necessary for receiving spiritual influence and light from above. The point is not traditionally considered a window to heaven point. However, in his experience, it is useful for addressing issues of large intestine function as they contribute to the separation of heart and mind. And large intestine in Chinese medicine is very much about letting go, just as our colon is used for excretion of bowel movements. And so any large intestine points can help with letting go physically, as well as letting go emotionally and psychologically. He considers this point particularly potent for helping resolve issues of unworthiness or feeling tainted by empowering the virtues of emptiness, openness, and purity. The alternate name for this point is also pronounced Tian Ding, and thus a homophone for the first name. This second character, Ding, implies not just a physical peak, but also that something is the pinnacle of its class. As the heavenly summit, large intestine 17 can help align us with the highest that heaven has placed within us and continually strives to illuminate. So may you bring illumination and connection to your life.